Hey everyone, Al here. Before we begin tonight's special episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Diabolical Coffee. It's devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. There's a roast for all tastes. You can order whole bean, coarse, and standard grind, espresso. There's even a K-Cup option for single cup brewers. And right now you can use a promo code PRODUSTAN for 20% off anything in the store. That's 20% off all coffee and merch. Thank you, Diabolical Coffee and Eric, for your support. Now, here's our chat with Max Bouffard.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Monday, and we are hanging out at the Produce Stand, podcast covering everything in the universe. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one is about to have a stick with one of Shoresy's sluts. I'm Al, your host, and she's not joining me in the room because she's on a meeting. She'll hopefully join us in a few minutes. Is the lovely Tanya, and online we have Squirrely Matt and another one who's on a meeting because we're recording this during work hours. Victor will be joining us in a few minutes as well. But also joining us this week, he is a former goaltender in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. He's a member of various production crews, including the award-winning 2020 film Anything for Jackson and TV series Northern Rescue and Hard Rock Medical. But we know and love him as JJ Frankie JJ on both Letterkenny and Shoresy. Please join me in making some noise for Max Bouffard.
Wondrous!
Oh my gourd.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I regret nothing!
Welcome to the Produce Stand, Max.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, right off the bat, I'm freaking out because there's not a hint of a French accent on you. What's up with that?
Secret.
What's a secret?
Nothing's really up with it. I grew up, full name is Maxime.
Okay.
So I am French. My father's French.
Mm-hmm.
I went to French school.
Oh.
Just, I guess I spend most of my time speaking in English, so I don't really have too heavy of an accent.
That's amazing. So where are you speaking to us from right now?
From Sudbury at home.
Mm-hmm. So that is your home. Is that where you grew up?
Yep, born and raised.
Very good. And you're about to head down to Toronto for some work soon.
Yes, yeah, we're pretty quiet right now until the new year because of holidays and everybody goes on hiatus and whatnot. So you can leave your decrepit film family and go spend time with your real families.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, we just had a bunch of listeners up in Shoresy a weekend ago for the Shoresy night at the Sudbury Wolves game. They seem to have had a lot of fun meeting you in person.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was pretty cool to meet everybody, hearing how everybody came from so far and so wide to come to little Sudbury, Ontario for a little Shoresy night. It was pretty neat. Yeah,
they got a kick of with meeting you for sure. We'll get to all of that stuff in a second, but let's learn a little bit more about your background. So you were a goalie in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. Is that kind of when did you stop with the hockey?
I stopped. Probably would have been about. I think I was 19. I wasn't always a goalie.
Okay.
Only became a goalie after. What was it? Major Adam. I had a subdural hematoma and had to go get brain surgery, so I wasn't allowed to play contact sports anymore.
Oh, really?
And obviously, as a 10-year-old, it's kind of a crushing blow because every Canadian kid wants to play some serious hockey. So I had to change my shin pads for goalie pads, and it still worked out in the end.
And it was that early on, though you were 10 years old when that happened.
Yeah, I was 10 years old when I had the surgery.
Wow. But so you were a goalie, and you're on the what's it called, the prospects like stats sites and stuff like that. So did you have designs of going pro, or was it just you got as far as you thought you could go?
No, I got to a point where I didn't really want to pursue hockey as a career. Because the game of hockey is a beautiful thing, but the business of it's quite ugly.
Right.
And I just got to a point where I couldn't see myself doing it 7 days a week for the rest of my life. I had opportunities. I was scouted by the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Islanders at a couple of these prospect tournaments. But just kind of walked away from it after playing my second year of junior. And then after sitting around for a year at home, kind of doing odd jobs and whatnot, I decided I missed hockey. And because I hadn't had any head complications from the brain surgery, I decided I'd try out, and I made a junior team as a forward.
Oh, okay. So
so my last year at junior, I played out.
Oh, it's going to kind of cover my next question, because on Shoresy and Letterkenny, you don't play goalie, you play a forward, an elite scoring forward. How did you get a kick out of that?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Was it tough to leave the game, or were you ready?
You can always look back on certain things and say shoulda, coulda, woulda. But I gotta stick by my guns to the decision that I made at the time in my life. I felt like it was a good one, and now people watch me play fake hockey on TV. So
I'm sure
it kind of all worked out.
Yeah. Did you ever dream? Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was saying, so really quick side one. Missing tooth, real or fake?
My mom told me if I had a good tooth pulled like Jared did, she would kick my ass. So my broken tooth is fake. It's a partial that they make me wear. So the broken tooth is actually the length of all my regular teeth, and they just kind of extended all the other ones.
Oh wow,
smart.
So, much like
mirrors, right?
Much like your accent, it's all a lie.
Yeah.
Well, that totally crushes my follow-up question. Would be how, but I guess there we know.
Yeah.
Very good. So after hockey, then what did you do? Did you go straight into television and film production, or?
Oh God, no.
No.
I bounced around all over the place. One of the rules at the house was if you weren't in school, you were paying your way, working, getting a job and whatnot. So, my first job out of high school was a masonry laborer for my dad's buddy, and I still have not worked as hard for as little money as I did for those my first real job experience. Was pretty nuts. And then from there, I just kind of bounced around, did a lot of construction stuff. Worked Cal Tire, worked on transport trucks, changing tires, loaders on mine sites. From there, I went out west and worked on the oil rigs for a bit, and then came home in 2014 right before oil tanked,
so to speak.
And so to speak, punny. And then one of my buddies asked for me to come give him a hand on a film set, because they were basically just pulling people off the street because they needed technicians. And I've been doing it ever since.
Oh,
nice. Cool. And does that have to do with, like, I know Sudbury is growing in popularity as a film hub. Was that sort of, I guess, in the early days of that?
Yeah, it was in the early days of that. And when we had a couple of big shows, actually, it was it was another Mark Montefiore show. Was Bad Blood season 1 was my first technician gig.
I was going to say, you need to update your IMDb, because the credits that I pulled from there there were only 3, and I know that you're working on more than just the 3.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list of things to do.
So that was your first gig then in television and film, was Bad Blood. When would that have been?
Oh, geez, it would have been 2014 or 2015.
Okay, so you've been at it for about 8 years then? Yeah,
7, maybe going on 8.
Very cool. Before we leave hockey altogether, we'll get back to it with Shoresy and stuff. Did you ever see maybe hockey back in your future, like as a coach or any other capacity like that? Or do you think you're out of the game for
no, I don't think I'm out of the game. I don't have any kids, but I was very fortunate to have my dad always in the picture. Well, both parents, obviously, but my dad was always a coach of mine, and we've built quite a relationship, spending all the time. And we've probably driven through 3 trucks and a million kilometers together.
Wow. That's
so
great.
yeah, I don't think it's totally out of the realm of possibilities to want to get into coaching, but not yet, anyways.
At the very least, for your own kids, you'd love to coach.
Yeah,
one day.
One day.
Very good. So, how did you get involved with Letterkenny then?
There was an open call for background, and my friend Ashley is still the casting agent for the show. Okay. And I came out for season 1, episode 2. Like I said, the super soft birthday party.
You know, it's funny because I pointed you out. Yes, you were one of Joint Boy's cousins or whatever in the super soft birthday.
Yep.
Very cool.
So you didn't come on as a tech or anything of that nature, just a background extra at that time.
Yeah, at that time it was just a background, and then from there I did almost every season until until current as a technician.
Right. So they looked at you and said, awesome. You did a great job there, but you also look like you can hold that that lighting rig over your shoulders longer than anybody else. So would you mind doing that?
Yeah, something like that for sure.
It's amazing. So then, I mean, at what point through this process, I know it's like in the later seasons, did Jared or whoever tap you and go, "Hey, Max, we got something else for you," and then they bring you into the screen?
That's honestly basically how it went. I think it was like season 3-ish. We organized a production game of Letterkenny versus like William F. White's, the rental house company. Okay. And so they had sent their team up from Toronto, but we were sitting there and I heard about this game and nobody had talked to me about it yet. And, I was fairly new to the crew.
Did they know that you had the hockey background?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they didn't. And I pulled
So this
Jared
is like
aside.
A quiet audition.
Right.
Yeah, more or less. So I pulled Jared aside and I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "how come you guys didn't ask me to play on the team?" And he's like, "Well, you could play hockey." I said, "Absolutely." And so he's like, "Oh yeah, okay." So I guess the rest is history. And I guess, he came up to me. I don't remember before which season of Letterkenny that we were filming, but he's like, I got a role for you if you want it. I mean, when Kiso comes knocking, what else are you going to say except yes?
Absolutely.
He's the man.
You must have really impressed them during that game.
Well, but the funny thing is, the flick pass that we do in Shoresy was something that I did to Jared during our Whites game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got lots to talk about that pass. That whole scene, I loved that scene. And it was so well shot too. But that's amazing. Yeah. Jared must have just looked at you, said, like, look at the size of this guy, and I'm going to assume you're a pretty good skater then as well. And he must have just thought, wow, this is perfect. Like,
yeah, something like that. I mean, I've shrunk a little bit over the years compared to when he first would have met me. But on skates, I'm about 6'8" and 325 pounds. So.
That fits the bill.
It's a lot.
Now, when he came to you and said, "Okay, I wrote this character for you for this season," did you know, was it going to be a returning character, or was it just going to be for that season? And then the feedback was such that, we're bringing you back again for the last season because now we've got this other show that we want you on.
Well, I think it was always in his plan to bring me along, because really myself and Terry Ryan are the only two people that come over from Letterkenny into the Shoresy world,
right?
From that senior men's hockey tournament.
Yeah.
And Jared's been talking about Shoresy for years. I know he's been secretly putting away at it, trying to, turning it into what it is. And he had mentioned it quite, I guess, a couple of years ago now.
Sure.
And I love, your first episode was that senior men's hockey league there one. And when you read the script or told it was going to happen, what was your reaction when you told that you were going to get Bobby Clark in that opening?
I laughed. It was so funny. And originally, because Jared's left-handed and we lined up together on the draw, he was originally just supposed to kind of pull back and chop from there, but we decided that it wasn't enough. And
he's got to spin around.
yeah, he did the spin around, but
Oh, man.
unfortunately, because we only thought about him chopping the one leg, we had only padded up the one leg, and when he did the spin, he reached a lot further around. And I had a bruise from the back of my knee down to my ankle that could hold I could hold color with the sock.
Wow. Oh shit! So he basically owed you a recurring role after that one.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. And I would have done it again. I would have done it again too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for what it's led to, right now. So early on, you knew you were going to be involved in Shoresy. Then, like when he announced, okay, we're doing this spinoff, was it like, Max, you're obviously,
yeah,
good because you're going kind of thing?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, good because you're going for sure.
So which of the sluts is the best hockey player between you, Terry Ryan, Dolo, and Goody?
I mean, you got to give it to TR because he did get drafted and he did play in the NHL. So I mean,
okay, I mean that's fair. That's fair enough. That's a good political answer. But when you guys get on the ice, does it get competitive? Like, do you guys start like messing around or?
Terry is super serious. Okay. The guy plays hockey still every day. I swear to God, I don't see a story on Terry's Instagram where he's doesn't have his cell phone on the bench.
Oh, believe me, I know how busy Terry is. We've been in talks since the summer to try to get him on.
He's hilarious, and it does get somewhat competitive. I mean, we had. I don't know if you know about the fish story.
No, please share.
Oh, we're about to.
Well, the fish that plays fish is we call him fish 2.0 because the first fish that came out because we were doing some skating before we even went into production. Within 10 minutes of him coming on the ice, everybody knew that this guy wasn't going to cut it.
Oh,
and Terry and John Morasti just rode the hell out of him, and then we had to find a replacement fish, so we got fish 2.0.
Right. Now, was
better hockey player.
Was the original fish hockey player first, actor second, or actor first? Like,
I'm not 100% sure. I didn't even get a chance to really get to know him.
Oh, okay. But the new fish or the current fish, he's a former player, right?
Yeah. He's a hockey player. He played hockey in France,
right,
for a bit.
Yeah, he looks like it.
Yeah.
Very good. I think it was when we were talking to Billy. Was it Billy, Matt, who said that they didn't allow any pucks on the ice when you get because or else you guys would like?
Oh,
yeah, there was. He said there was some control there because we asked the same kind of question. Did you guys get competitive and play around a bit? And Billy said no, everyone's pretty serious, and we kept what we need to get done for the most part. But I have to believe there's some between the scenes action happening there.
Well, the problem is when you have like a $300,000 camera set up on the ice, you don't really want hockey pucks near it.
Sure.
And so
fair enough.
Yeah. So we usually the first AD's babysitting, keeping the kids in line, we'll call it.
And
so on that note, was there ever any without the cameras there scrimmage amongst you guys just to get a feel for each other on the ice?
No, we had Jared and I had 2 ice times the week before prep because I was fresh out of the hospital with a week-long battle with COVID.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, and then we had a week of practicing some stuff together prior to beginning principal photography.
Now, so you had about 8 years of being on a crew under your belt. Had you ever worked on hockey scenes before Shoresy?
Yeah, I worked on a French hockey show called Les Bleus de Rainville, or Rainville, something like that.
Okay.
And but even that, I was like a BG, special BG player
All right.
Not really, didn't really work as a technician.
Well, the reason I'm asking is, and when we had Billy on, I had a lot to say about this. Like the hockey scenes in Shoresy I love them. And of course it's the brilliance of, of choosing hockey players first and actors second, that you guys you can do like, wide angle shots because you guys can all skate. You guys can all, shoot properly, and you don't have to like be close up because you're an actor first, right? And that scene that you're talking about with the saucer pass, and just before that, Shoresy drawing up the scene and then seeing it like happen exactly the way he described it. I mean, I've seen a lot of hockey movies, and usually it's frantic cutting and a lot of close up of the feet, of the skates, and of the puck, because once again, these are actors, they're not players, and there's a lot of confusion, but that's on purpose to make it look more frantic and more fast paced. But really, what you're watching isn't anything related to the sport. You know what I mean? Whereas the way Shoresy's shooting their hockey, because you guys are all players, it's beautiful. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it's relatively seamless. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of those shots, a lot of the hockey shots were a one and done. The first.
Well, that's what amazed me, because when we were talking to Billy, he said, how long did it take to set up that scene, that specific scene? And he's like, oh, I think we did it, knocked it out in like a half an hour or whatever. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they went by pretty quick.
Yeah.
I remember on like one of the goals that I got where I come cutting across the blue line, they gave it to me. The first time I went down, I hit the crossbar and went bar down as hard as I could. And I kind of just laughed because I was like, I cannot do it better than I just did it. So
right.
Moving on, checking that.
And that's amazing. When you've already got the skill.
Yeah. And when you receive the pass, you bring it between your legs. Was that on purpose, or was the pass behind you and you had to do that? Like
the pass was a little bit behind me and I had to pull it to stay on side.
Wow. I mean, well done.
Thanks.
Continues to prove your point out. Like when you bring people who already have the talent in that skill, it's the acting is the after thing, and it's great. But
Paul Newman was on Slapshot.
It looks so authentic. Yeah.
Paul Newman was on Slapshot, and he's a great actor and all, but he wouldn't be able to do what Max Bouffard did in that fucking scene.
No, without endless takes and probably an accidental.
No, moment. You'd be cutting away to a double doing it, and it would be showing him from the knees down. So no, like props to you, man. That's amazing. That's great. So we've got a bunch of, like I said, listener questions. I mean, before we get to that, we touched on it a bit at the beginning, but last week the Sudbury Wolves hosted a special Shoresy night, and it was all to raise money for, was it Neo Kids, I believe is the charity. And it was, a celebration of Shoresy, and you were there to drop the puck, and the Wolves were wearing the Blueberry Bulldog sweaters, and they were selling merchandise, and they were selling puppers. I mean, it looked like an amazing celebration of Letterkenny and Shoresy. So talk about that a bit, like, your experience with that night, being from Sudbury yourself.
Man, it was truly an honor. Quite humbling to see all the support and all the people come out. Like you said, it was for Neo Kids. It was a good cause. Like I said, it was just truly a humbling and great experience.
Mm-hmm. And you said that the barn was pretty jumping, and
it was sold out. I know the day of, I think there was standing room and single tickets only, and by the time game time rolled around, I'm pretty sure that everybody was sold out.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Did you spend any time with any of the players, like from their perspective, were any of them trying to live the role in those jerseys?
No, I didn't spend any time with the kids beforehand.
Fair enough.
I mean, one of the things, and no secret, some of our listeners came up from various parts of the U.S. For this night, and it's funny how it all kind of started. When the Sudbury Wolves announced the game, a couple of them just bought tickets on a whim. They had no designs on coming or anything. They're just, we're just going to buy tickets and be supportive of the team. And then that turned into, why don't we come up? We can, fly into Buffalo and drive up from Buffalo or whatever. So, I think the final total was 7 of our listeners, and then one who lives in Sudbury joined them. And they had a great time. But what I found amusing, and what they found amusing, is when they were up there telling all the locals, all where they came from, and that there was people who were actually surprised that people were coming this far for that show. And I'm wondering, is it just that under the radar in Sudbury, what the impact that, Letterkenny and Shoresy are making for Sudbury as like a known city now, like a destination almost that people want to go visit?
I guess because it's shot here, it's not, it doesn't register as much as it does globally or internationally for everybody else. But, it's funny that you say that. My mom's friend was checking into her hotel in Australia.
Wow.
And the guy checking her into the hotel said, "Oh man, you're from Sudbury?"
Right.
He's like, "I love Shoresy and Letterkenny." And it's like, holy,
That's amazing.
Like, that's crazy.
They must have met Jack.
Must have met Melbourne Jack.
Well, yeah, and then my mom's friend was like, "Oh, if you think that's cool," she's like, "JJ Frankie JJ's mom is my good friend," and the guy just loses it. I'm like, that's half a world away.
I know. Well, that's the reach that these shows have now, and that's why they're putting Sudbury on the map. And it's funny that the locals don't seem to grasp that, or maybe they just don't, or maybe it's just cool not to care.
Is why that, or it's just because there's really not that much going on up here.
Well, I mean, I beg to differ. We had a lot of fun when we were there in September. My wife, Tanya, just joined us, by the way. Say hi, Tan.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
Good. Are you?
Good.
And I don't know if you've seen the video I posted, Max, to Instagram, but yeah, we had a great time there, and Sudbury has a lot to offer, really. So it's great that you guys are raising the profile and that you're making people wonder, whether we should go, visit or not. I feel like I've said this on Twitter. New Metric Media needs to organize like a con, like a Letterkenny. Well, yeah, I don't want to call it the Yukon, the universe, right? But whatever, like get something happening there at the Colson or something,
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
All right, we have some listener questions, so bear with me here because some of these will, be from your fans. So for the first one, here's from our friend Erin, and she asked, well, what I just kind of asked about, how did it feel to have so much attention / love at the Wolves game?
Oh, it was great. Like I said, it was humbling. It was a great honor. It was all the things that you could feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I should ask this question here. When it comes to eating a stick, bowl or no bowl?
Well, I'm a fast eater, so no bowl.
That's the only answer.
That's
Max.
the right answer.
The
Yes. Daniel will disagree, but that is the only answer.
There's nuts everywhere. It's just fact. It's not even.
Well, because there's actually, here's a fun fact. There were no nuts on the sticks that we had. They were toffee pieces.
Oh,
actually, that sounds delicious.
Yeah,
no lies.
Yeah, they were from Chapman's.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did Chapman's have any idea that that you guys were bringing this kind of attention to them before last weekend?
I have no idea.
Let's see. The next question here from Tobias. What are the differences on the sets of Letterkenny and Shoresy? First of all, is it basically the same crew on both shows?
It's
yeah,
more or less. There's a couple small changes between some people, but it's a family. Mm-hmm. It's been a family since season 1.
So other than the actors, what would be the biggest difference between the two sets?
I mean, probably the fact that it revolves more around hockey than shoring.
Yeah. Now, I know that
I like that answer.
Yeah. I know Letterkenny's more kind of like skits or whatever. Like it's not a run-on story. Each episode kind of has, it's kind of little sketches. And Shoresy's more of a run-on story. And I know, and I've heard how frantic like the pace is shooting Letterkenny. Is it the same in Shoresy?
Yeah, it's basically the same. It's pretty crazy. I work on a lot of other things, and we'll do like 6 pages of dialogue in like a 14-hour day on some shows, and we'll be done a 9-hour day and 24 pages of dialogue on Letterkenny.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, with mostly on like with a few exceptions, a lot of new actors, right? And a lot of people who are new to acting.
Yeah. Yes. In Shoresy, we were all, like you said, hockey players pretending to be actors. And, all of us are quite green.
Right. Who would you say has had the most difficult transition between, like, the sluts, for example? Would it be Dolo, you, Goody?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one because Dolo gets to play himself. So it's not really
it's true.
much change, which is pretty cool. And Terry is Terry.
Yeah.
Whether like everybody's just really themselves.
All right. Well,
so it was easy in that sense. They're like, just come on and be you. And here's some lines you have to read.
Yeah, more or less.
So really, you were the one with the biggest challenge because you had to completely reinvent you.
Well, except he didn't have many lines.
In very few words.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything was in French too. And one last one from Tobias here. How does it feel to be the most desired man in Quebec?
I mean, I don't know. Dolo might be upset about that one. My back's pretty sore, but it's pretty all right.
Well played.
Yeah, you're giving some pretty fine starlets to star across on that show.
Yeah.
So let's expand a bit on that one. So, like, I mean, yeah, you're from Sudbury. You're not from Quebec. Have you ever lived in Quebec?
Nope.
No. So you've given all these storylines and beliefs in this, like, Quebec never forgets thing. Were your character can relate to it, but you personally can't relate to a lot of the things that are being thrown at you from that perspective, right?
Yes and no. I mean, my like I said, my dad's French and my grandparents are French on his side, and so I can definitely relate.
Okay. And how did you feel when you saw the lines where you, or like Allard said, you're hooking up with the best of the best that Quebec has to offer?
Or we'll skip that question right away.
Yeah.
Trying to get the man in trouble. What you guys do?
Yeah, how do you answer that? Not sound pompous.
I know. Sorry, we'll move on. We'll
Fair enough.
Let's see
Come
here.
hang out for a weekend and you'll see how I can relate.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
Joey here wanted to know, did you have a previous understanding of the universe's reach in the US? Yeah, I mean, you've kind of touched that on a bit, but were you surprised?
Oh, I was blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was blown away with the amount of waves that Shoresy made. And I think that we're still kind of, especially for me, first time really being a main character in anything. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm still just a guy. And there's all this extra stuff that it's hard to grasp for sure.
Casey wants to know, how is playing hockey different when there are cameras? I guess there isn't somebody trying to take the puck off of you or take your head off, right?
Yeah.
You know the play.
Yeah, that's it. The play.
Joey asks, sushi maki or assorted tempura?
Sushi.
Oh, there you go. He has some follow-up questions. Doghouse or townhouse?
Oh, I mean, doghouse for wings, townhouse for a burger.
Oh, there you go. See, our listeners spent a lot of time at the townhouse while they were up there last weekend.
Yeah, I saw them.
That's right.
I went there after the game.
Yeah, this one might get you in trouble. Colson's or Pepe Panini Pepe Lounge?
Oh, Pepe.
Oh, there you go. It won't get you in trouble at all. Very good. Yeah, we had the pitter patter panini. That's
There you go.
and it was delicious.
Yeah, they are quite good. Jay and his wife really know how to throw down in the kitchen and make some pretty bomb ass paninis.
Well, is that your favorite item on the menu there, or is there something else that you get when you go?
I always like the Philly cheesesteak or Zia Zinger because I used to work at SRO, which is now closed, but it was a bar beside Pepe's. So
Okay.
we used to go there as a bouncer. So I used to go there at the end of the night and get some sandwiches before going home.
Very good. You were a bouncer. Shocking. What's your favorite thing about Sudbury? That's from Casey.
It's home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people are nice, and it's home.
Yeah. Have you had any comments on, I'll expand a bit on that. I mean, we talked about in our show about Shoresy really being almost like a love letter to Sudbury, right? And a lot of shows, they never really call out the town they're in, unless it's like a New York or an LA or something like that. But there was no hiding Sudbury in this. It was very much front and center and almost a character on the show. Being from Sudbury, and I mean, even if there's other people you talk to, what was the general vibe about all these different locations and hot spots and things like that being highlighted in a show like this?
Oh, it was pretty cool to see. You know, like you said, being from Sudbury and seeing like all these staples in the community being, you know, given some spotlight. It's super cool to see and really cool to be a part of.
Very cool. Our friend Awesome, she was one of the people who came up last weekend. She said it was great meeting you at the game, and thanks for agreeing to come on the podcast. Thank you, Awesome, for speaking on our behalf. I have a friend on Discord who is big time shy and has some questions, so I'm asking for her. So here we go. These are questions from a listener's friend. Can you talk about your tattoos? All right, let's talk about your tattoos. You're pretty inked up. Do you have any good stories for any of those tattoos?
Well, both arms are done. It's all Greek mythology. So like my hands are like Theseus and the Minotaur. I've got Medusa on my forearm, and then my upper arms, I have Zeus on my right upper arm, and I got Hades on the left upper arm.
It's amazing. What's your draw to that? I mean, I love Greek mythology. What's your draw to that?
Same thing. I've always liked Greek mythology. You know, Hercules growing up is probably one of my favorite cartoons.
The stories are dark and badass.
They are.
Very cool. Related question. Whose idea was it to have Frankie wearing short sleeves all the time?
I'm pretty sure it was the man with the master plan. It was Kiso.
Okay. And she also asked, would you mind sharing how you broke your tooth? But we now know the truth to that it's actually fake. So thank you for that. And lastly, how much ice cream did you guys eat filming all the scenes with the drumsticks?
Oh my God. The one day in the dressing room scene, I swear to God, I must have had like 5 sticks.
Oh my. So no spit pail for you?
Yeah, well, yeah, but you would have to like start a new one at the beginning of the top of every scene, right? Because in order to match the continuity.
Sure.
So yeah, there was some. Yeah, I was a little bit sick of sticks after by the end of it.
Yeah.
One final question from Awesome's friend, and this is more of a request. Apropos of nothing, would you mind saying hi, Ali Ray?
Hi, Ali Ray.
There you go. She can clip that now and use it as her ringtone, I guess, is what.
Oh, cheating.
That's amazing. Max, what was the vibe on set with, like, amongst the guys? Like, what was the relationship amongst you guys? Were you all like true, like, great friends on screen and off screen, or is there any particular people that you really connected with, even between Letterkenny or Shoresy?
Everybody on Shoresy was an absolute beauty. I don't think you could have asked for a better first meet and, you know, for a better first season with everybody that was there. Dole and I have spent the most time together since we wrapped up season 1, because we do a lot of snowboarding and stuff together.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So I'd say that, you know, he's probably the one that I've had the most fun with, just because we've spent more time together. But everybody on that show through and through is just an absolute fantastic person, and it is all friends and camaraderie.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. Makes going into work, and especially those long days, that much better and easier, eh?
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
What are your
it's a lot of fun.
What do your parents say about the work you're doing?
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. If you ask my mom, I don't think she's surprised that I managed to find my way in front of a camera for attention. But her opinion's biased, so it doesn't really count.
Very good. Now you said awesome. You're headed to this to Toronto soon to work on some other productions. Can you talk about some of them?
I'm not 100% sure if I can, but
we'll just sidestep that then.
Okay then.
So let me shift that a bit. I mean, you've done a lot of crew work, it sounds like, and you're continuing to do that. But through Shoresy and Letterkenny, you've gotten some FaceTime. Are you exploring or pursuing more on-camera, on-screen roles?
I wouldn't really say that I'm like actively pursuing it. I was very fortunate that Jared came up to me and offered me this role, and obviously I took it. If my appearance or something tickles somebody in the right way where they think they would like to use me, they can always reach out and I would go from there. But for the most part, I really do enjoy the technician side of it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you'd be happy to just continue doing that? Would you want to maybe try photography or directing at one day, or are you happy kind of being in the crew?
No, I'm happy doing what I'm doing for sure.
Very good. Well, I mean, so what's, you're basically now on a big part of 2 cult following shows. How does that feel?
To be honest, I'm not sure how to describe it. It's still grasping at it. It's, at the end of the day, it's, like I said, I'm just a guy. I was very fortunate to be right place, right time, right skill set. I don't know. It could be a whole compilation of things, but it's groovy.
I like that. The one thing I love that when you talked about early on in that game that you played where you approached Jared and said, hey, why didn't you ask me to play hockey? I mean, that's a great example of never missing an opportunity. Even if it doesn't feel like one at the time, you just said, hey, I have something I can do, I'm in, and look potentially where that's taken the rest of it. And it's amazing. I'm so glad it did, but you never miss those opportunities, right?
Yeah, no, Wayne Gretzky said it best. You miss 100% of the shots you never take.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's one of the best pieces of advice. One last question from me. Who would you say is your best friend on Shoresy? Would it be Dolo?
Yeah, I'd say Dolo.
You guys spend a lot of time together?
Yeah.
Do you think
because him and Andrew are both in Montreal? So I've seen them more than I've seen Uncle Terry and the other boys. I did get out to go golfing once with Brandon this summer, which was pretty nice.
Do you think we could get Dolo on the podcast? Would he come on?
Oh, I'm sure he would.
I'll have to
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think our listeners would love to hear from him. Actually, we will be hearing from him soon. Singing us or wrapping us off this episode here. But anyway, Matt, do you have any final questions?
I mean, I just love what you guys do. I'm so glad where it's come. I mean, we ask anyone comes on at some point. I mean, I assume you're a fan of like even Letterkenny in the verse. Do you have any favorite episodes or standout moments in the shows that have hit home with you? And either show, Shoresy or Letterkenny.
The last episode of the first season of Shoresy, like when we're playing the song and it's it's an emotional time. It definitely makes the hair on your arm stand up, and you do get the tinglies for sure. Definitely, that final game feeling is something that you can't really replicate unless you've done it.
Would you
absolutely? Would
you say that's your most memorable day on set for either show, or are there others?
I mean, the original Slash has to be probably one of the most memorable days.
Well, how can you forget? You got a bruise to.
Yeah.
What was Jared's reaction when he saw the bruise?
Oh, he felt bad.
I'm sure.
He felt bad after he sent the stuffed crust, but he did feel bad.
Did you have any questions?
I'm not entirely sure what you guys covered, but thank you so much for coming out, because all of our listeners are just crazy fans that are just craving content, as much content as possible. So we really appreciate you coming out and talking with us. What was your, like, is there any story that you want to share with us that we haven't asked you that was like a wow moment of like either a moment where you're like, I can't believe I'm here. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this, or like you, or watching yourself on TV going, wow, that's me. Like you were kind of saying before, you were in the background before, and now you're front and center. How's that feel?
Man, that's a great question. It feels surreal.
Yeah.
It feels very surreal to be where I am and the position that I'm in, with such a great team, and like I said, from top to bottom, everybody is just fantastic to deal with. Everybody's the best, and it just makes for, I guess, a easy transition as we continue forward with it.
It must be just such an amazing ride.
Yeah, it truly is.
That's awesome.
One quick question. You talk about the path forward, and cut me off if I'm teetering into things I shouldn't be asking, but we're on the assumption season 2 is going to be announced anytime soon. If you haven't seen a script or anything at this point, where do you see JJ's character going? Or where would you like to see it in the future go? Based on what we know from season 1.
This is your chance to pitch a story to Jared. He'll listen to this.
Pitch a story?
Yeah. Put yourself in the script writer. Yeah.
Oh man, I am not going to say anything.
You gotta watch these guys.
It's a fine tooth cog machine. I'm not. Nope.
No, you don't want to. No,
I don't blame
he's got a formula, and it obviously works extremely well.
Sure.
And I have nothing to say.
Yeah,
that's very
fair enough. So then let me go back then and ask a different one. So when you first, I'm not prying into season 2. Don't worry. I know. I get it. When you first heard, and you said that you and Jared was talking about Shoresy for a while. When you first heard the concept of a Shoresy spinoff show based on knowing what Shoresy was in Letterkenny.
Oh yeah.
Like, what was your take on that? Because we've always like, how is this going to work? He was so one-dimensional in Letterkenny, and I love what it's become. But like, what was some of the thought? I mean, even amongst crew and whatever, like, were you guys like, what, how? Or did you just have trust in the process?
You know what? I told Jared on like season 3 of Letterkenny, I was like, man, it's so cool to be a part of, because to have like the creator, the showrunner, he goes out of his way to say hi, good morning, how was your weekend, shakes everybody's hand. And it's just anything that he puts his passion into, I think will do well. And I've told him that since the very beginning. And, he, like I said, when we were talking about Shoresy, as it was just an idea, he said, we're going to make the best hockey show ever made. And I just, trust the process.
So far, so good. Yeah. And
Great
I mean,
fucking answer.
And with no insider knowledge at all, when they announce future seasons of Shoresy, it's going to be the world's worst surprise, because we're all expecting it. We're all waiting for it. It's going to happen. We know.
But it will be still a very, very pleasant surprise.
No, I said we have no insider knowledge, but it would be pretty dumb of Bell not to sign you guys for the next 10 years.
I would totally agree.
So we're just waiting. I mean, and we're going to enjoy season 11 of Letterkenny coming out next week. And, and then hopefully by then we'll hear of next season of Shoresy.
Yeah.
Al, I wouldn't be surprised if you hear something soon. I don't know though.
Nope.
Nice. Al, did you want to share your theory? Because Al's had some pretty big theories of where
well,
the show's
I don't want to put him in the position of saying, well, that's, of him lying, because I know I'm right. But
let's hear it. Now I'm interested. I'm listening.
Well, I think it's like episode 2 of Shoresy. There's like the line "Quebec never forgets," and if you ask me personally, I don't think JJ Frankie JJ has gotten his comeuppance yet from the Bobby Clark slash in Letterkenny. So I think this whole thing of you not being a no-show in that last game, That was all part of the plan. And it isn't your plan. It's LeBoeuf's plan. She's the one orchestrating this whole thing. And it's all about Nadeau, LeBoeuf, and you getting back at Shoresy. And that's what I think is happening here. I think it's Quebec getting back at Shoresy.
It's not a bad theory.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad theory.
He's really banking on it.
He's banking on a license plate right at this point.
I have no answers.
No, I know you don't. But Matt wanted me to embarrass myself by bringing it up. So there you go.
Put you on the spot.
That's a good theory, man.
Thank you.
A really good theory.
Thanks. So we'll see if it happens. Anyway, Max, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. You've given us almost an hour of your time, or more than an hour of your time. We really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see what you guys do next on Shoresy. And, love to have you back on maybe, in season 5 of Shoresy. We'll have you back on. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
That's great.
Any last comments from you, Max? Like any shout outs, anything you want to say?
Oh yeah. Is there anything you want to promote for sure?
Well, I got to give a shout out to my guys at One Bone. They keep me fresh with all my t-shirts and jackets. And, if their stuff's good, made in Canada, in Montreal, they're great.
Nice.
Okay. And if you want people to follow you, what's the best place to follow you?
Instagram. Max Bouffard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, great. And as promised, I'm going to play us off here with Feel Blessed by Joe Dolo. He's already had a loaded. And that's all we have for this episode. Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They are at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now you can use a promo code PROTESTAN for 20% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProtestantPod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Hive Social now. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to go have some sticks with our new buddy Max. And on behalf of Matt, Tanya, Victor, who didn't make it, myself, and Max, thank you for listening. Have a great week.
If you say it's me, I'ma say it's you. You can count on me, I'ma count on you. I feel blessed, I love myself. I can hold you. It's been a too long time since I had a good time. But if you say it's me, I'ma show you.